Hello, fourth graders, and welcome back. I'm Mrs. Lamondo here to bring you our mythology lesson of the day. Today, we are going to read a text all about the Trojan War. I'm so excited. All right, and the Trojan horse, more importantly. That actually brought an end to the Trojan War. All right, the Trojan horse. Once there was a lovely woman named Helen. She was the most beautiful woman in ancient Greece. Many men wanted to win her heart. She chose to marry King Menelaus, and she became the queen of Sparta. Unfortunately, Helen's marriage to Menelaus did not stop other princes and kings from wanting to marry her as well. Young, handsome Paris, Prince of Troy, was one of the men who was captivated by Helen's beauty. Paris kidnapped Helen and took her to his home in Troy. Helen became known as Helen of Troy. King Menelaus was furious and was not going to tolerate the prince stealing his wife. He called together an army of 50,000 men to help him get his wife back. Among those men were some of the greatest heroes of the world: Achilles the heroic, Odysseus the sneaky, and Ajax the arrogant. With these men, 1,000 ships sailed the shores of Troy, just outside the city walls. This was the beginning of one of the most terrible wars. It was known as the Trojan War. After 10 years, many men were dead, including Achilles, Ajax, and the Prince Paris. However, after countless battles, the Greeks never made it inside the city walls to regain possession of their queen. The Greek soldiers were ready to surrender and return to Greece, but Odysseus was not ready to give up. He had a clever idea to get into the city. None of the soldiers thought it would work, but they were desperate to end the war, so they were willing to give it a try. One morning, the Trojans woke up and discovered that the beaches were deserted and there was nothing left but a huge wooden horse. The Trojans were puzzled by the strange horse and debated about what it meant and what should be done with it. "It's a tribute to our great city, this city of horses," some said. "It's a trick," others voiced. The Trojans began to celebrate. They pulled the enormous wooden horse inside the city walls for a victory party. It would stand in the city as a reminder that the Greeks had surrendered to the powerful Trojans. Or did they? The celebrations lasted for many hours and late into the night. The Greeks all the while sat inside the hollow body of the horse, patiently waiting for the last of the Trojans to go to bed. Once the city was sound asleep, a small door on the horse's belly opened and the Greek soldiers leaped out of the huge hollow horse. Just as Odysseus had predicted, the Trojans had carried the Greeks right into the center of their city. The Greeks opened the city gates and signaled to the army of ships to sail back to shore. They had been hiding just over the sea's horizon. It did not take long before the entire Greek army flooded the city of Troy. All this happened while the Trojans slept soundly. It took no time for the Trojan War, that had lasted 10 years, to finally come to an end. The Greek soldiers were able to sail away happily because they had recaptured their queen. She was returned to King Menelaus, where they lived happily the rest of their days. Some of the Greek soldiers did not make it back to Greece immediately. It ended up taking Odysseus and some of his men another 10 years before they would return home. His trip home is known as the Odyssey. So, as we read, let's think about what could be the theme of the Trojan horse. And the phrase, "beware of Greeks bearing gifts," generated from this myth. After reading, can you infer what the meaning of this is? Beware of Greeks bearing gifts. Remember, the Greeks gave the gift of the Trojan horse, but it was actually so they could be carried in to the center of Troy and take back Helen. So when we talk about a Trojan horse, there is a mythical allusion that goes along with this. It refers to something that seems innocent, but is actually super harmful. You may have heard of a Trojan horse before, sometimes having to do with computer viruses. Seems innocent, very, very harmful. All right, fourth graders, that's all for today. Next time, we'll explore a video or media version of the Trojan horse and see how it compares to our text. See you next time. Bye.